Hello, welcome to Subfolio's Inside the Review Process. In this series, I walk through real review processes used by magazines, presses, and contests to review submissions in Subfolio. First, we'll be looking at a flowchart of the review process. Then we'll be looking at an example team and adding to the team ourselves. Then we'll see how it's built in Subfolio and build parts of it during the video. This second episode covers a medium volume review workflow often used for contests or open reading periods. I jokingly call it the aftermath review because it's largely orchestrated after all the submissions are already received. This lets organizations get their submissions open quickly and assemble their reading team and review process while submissions are flowing in. This review process handles thousands of submissions per open call across a team of 3 editors that are part of the aftermath review team and 6 readers that are assembled after submissions are already in. This is the flowchart of the aftermath review. First, all submissions are received and the contest closes. Then, a reading team is assembled. In our case, 6 readers. Then, templates are designed for acceptance messages, rejection messages, and finalist messages. Then, each submission gets a reader assigned from the reading team, and they vote 0 through 10 on the piece. Then the submissions are ordered by score. The top 50 are moved into the finalist round. What happens next depends on the organization. For some organizations, it's important that all messaging related to the contest goes out at one time, whether it's rejections, finalist messages, or an acceptance. For others, rejections and finalist messages can go out at any time. If the organization needs messages to go out all at once, submissions are left in the reader round while the finalists move on. Otherwise, the submissions in the reader round are declined and the submissions that move on are sent to finalist update. In the finalist round, all 3 editors are assigned to every submission and get to vote yes, no, maybe on each one. Then, through conversation and by looking at the overall ranking, the top 3 submissions are accepted. The others are sent to finalist decline. At this point, for organizations that send their messages at once, any submission not accepted is sent the appropriate rejection. Now that we've seen the flowchart, let's take a look through the system. In subcalls and schedules, there's one call setup named Aftermath Contest. It costs $15 to submit, and there are 5,000 allowed per scheduled period, and 1 submission allowed per submitter. Let's edit it. You can see it's named Aftermath Contest. It's a paid submission. In submission limits, there are 5,000 allowed per period, and since there's only 1 scheduled period, this is effectively a one-time limit. And there's 1 submission allowed per submitter. In revisions are allowed for 14 days after submission. In guidelines, we've set up some example guidelines. In form elements, there's only 1 additional question, do you have a pen name, with the writer information and the cover letter disabled. In the submission upload, you can see it allows PDFs and Word documents. One final thing to note, back in basic info, the review workflow is right now unset, but if it were set to default voting, the same process would apply later. In the Readers and Accounts tab, there are 3 editors set up, but no readers. We'll set those up as part of the review process. In groups, we don't have any groups yet. In review workflows, we only have default voting set up right now. We'll need to create a review workflow later. In tags, we only have the 4 defaults set up for us. It's very common to accept submissions before the full reader team is assembled. It's also common to accept submissions without the review workflow in place. We're going to see how Subfolio makes this review easy, even after the fact. With nothing but our guidelines and site theme in place, let's open to submissions. We'll accept 12 example submissions. Then we'll see how the review works. Let's start by submitting 1 example to see what it looks like. I've already filled in an address, a title, an example file. I won't put a pen name, and I have a fee waiver so I can submit for free. Now I'll submit. On the submission status page, you can see the status is now received. There's also a revision window open. It's open for 14 days or until submissions close, whichever is sooner. When I click Revise, I can edit my address, my title, I can change my files, and I can edit any question on the form. It's also possible to allow revisions until a set end date. It's also possible to enable and disable revisions globally. These revision windows are optional, but they can make the experience better for submitters. Submissions and revisions are now closed, and you can see we've received 12 submissions. They're all in the awaiting assignment status. Now that we've received all of our submissions and the period is closed, let's add our readers. In the Readers and Accounts tab, click Add Readers, and add their emails, separated here. And we'll make them Managing Readers. And click Next, and Create. You can see each one is set as pending. They've all received emails to log into the system. Once all of your readers have finalized their accounts, their status will be set to active. To make creating the review workflow easier, let's go to Groups and create groups. The first group will be named Readers, and click Create. The second group will be named Editors, and click Create. Let's start by managing the Readers group. I'm going to remove myself and add Readers 1 through 6, and click Close. In Editors, I'll again remove myself and add Editors 1, 2, and 3, and click Close. Next, let's take a look at the templates I've added to the system. I've added an acceptance template, 2 rejection templates, one for the standard rejection and one for the finalist rejection, and 1 message template. Let's look at each of these. The acceptance template includes a Next Steps PDF attachment, has subject Your Submission to Aftermath Review, and the copy has the submitter's name, the title, and more. It was created by editing the source code to add HTML to the email. You can see the rejection template is very similar, so I won't go through the others. Now that we've received our submissions, created our reader accounts, and created our templates, we'll go to the Review Workflows tab and create a review workflow. We'll click Add Review Workflow and name it. Since none of our readers have assignment limits, we can skip the fallback and click Next. And we'll add our first round and name it Screening. We will turn on anonymous review and choose 0 through 10 scoring and choose average total vote for the scoring method. In our assignment list, we'll choose a custom list from the readers group. For fallback, we again have no assignment limits. And for automatic advancement, we're going to be advancing this round manually. Finally, to create the round, click Create at the bottom. Next, we'll create our editors round. First, click Add Review Round. We'll name it Editors. We'll leave it as Yes, No, Maybe voting, and we'll change the scoring method to average total score. In assignments, we'll choose a custom list, this time with all at once assignment, and we'll choose our editors group. We don't need a fallback, so we can go to the bottom and click Create. Now that both of our rounds are created, click Create again. You can see the Aftermath contest workflow is now created. This is what our submission list looks like before applying the review workflow. You can see that every submission is in status awaiting assignment. Let's go to Subcalls and Schedules and click Edit and add our review workflow. Then click Update. We're prompted to start the review workflow, and when we click Yes, the call updates and every submission has the workflow applied. When we go back to our reader list, we see that every reader has exactly 2 submissions assigned. You can see that same information on the Readers and Accounts page, where it shows you the total active for every reader. If we click into any of these submissions, we can see there are 2 rounds, the screening round and the editors round. We can also see that right now the information is unblinded because I'm an admin. But the readers themselves won't see the personal information or the address information. Let's go to voting. You can see that Reader 1 has a vote pending. Let's log in as Reader 1 and take a look at what they see. We're now logged in as Reader 1, and you can see they have a very simplified view of the system. If we click here to expand, you can see they only see submissions and subcalls and schedules because they're a managing reader. In the system, they only see the 2 submissions assigned to them. Let's click into the first. You can see they see anonymous submitter, the category, title, and pen name. If we go to read the file, we're prompted to score the submission, 10 through 0. Let's score the submission a 7 and submit. If we click back to the overview, we can click Next to go to our next submission. This is a different submission now. If we click in, we can vote on this one too. Let's vote this one a 9 and click Submit. Now if we go back to Overview and back to Submissions and refresh, we see we're still assigned to our submissions, except they're all voted on. You can also see each submission says Decision Time, which indicates it knows my job is done. Since I'm a managing reader, I can also see all of the open submissions. In the system, I've sorted by score descending, and I can see the scores that I've put. I'm going to have my readers score all of their submissions, and I'll come back once they're done. Every reader has voted on their 2 submissions now, so it's time to order them by score and move the submissions that are at the top to the next round. Since we only have 12 submissions, we won't be moving 50 to the next round. Let's just move 6. We'll start by going to the filter icon, then sorting by score descending. And when I click back out, you can see every submission is ordered by the score. If we had more submissions and we were moving 50 of them to the next round, we could use the page length to help us. We could go to Bulk Actions, Bulk Stage Change, and choose Current Results Page, which would have 50 submissions if we had more. Then we could choose Advance to Next Stage and click Apply. Since our submissions are ordered by score, choosing the first page of 50 would choose the top 50 submissions automatically. Since we only have 12, I'm going to manually select the top 6. Then go to Bulk Actions, Bulk Stage Change, and automatically the selected submissions are chosen, and I'll leave it as Advance to Next Stage and click Apply. Our finalists are now in the editors round. If we scroll down, we can see that every submission has every editor assigned to vote. Our list has submissions from both stages. If we go to the filter icon and choose Review Workflow Stage, then click Editors, we can see only our finalists. If you have multiple contests, you can also choose the category. If we click into any of the finalist submissions, we can see we're now in the editors round. All 3 editors are assigned, and the submission is no longer blinded. If we scroll down, we can see all the personal information is visible. At this point, if your organization sends finalist and rejection messages before the review is complete, we can do that now. We'll go to Bulk Actions and Bulk Message. We'll choose the finalist message we set up earlier, then click Next. We're shown a preview of the message with the mail merge filled for our first recipient. At the top, you can see a warning that says the preview is only valid for the first recipient. It shows us the subject, the from address, the to address, and our message. We can scroll to the bottom and click Send and Message, and click Next. If we click into any of our submissions now and go to Correspondence, we can see the message we sent. For sending out rejections, the process looks the same whether we're in the middle of review or we're already done. We'll filter to our first stage, Screening, and we'll go to Bulk Actions, Bulk Reject, and we'll choose our Aftermath Contest rejection. Then click Next, preview our message to make sure everything is right, go to the bottom, and click send and reject, and click next. All of our submissions are now moved into the decline folder. If we click that, we can see all of them. Back looking at the list of finalists, let's have all of our editors vote on all of the submissions. I'm logged in as editor 1, and I'm going to show the process of voting on every submission. I'll click into the first one, open the file, and vote yes, no, maybe. For this one, I'll vote maybe, and submit. Once I've voted, I'm shown the previous round's score. To go to the next submission, I can click back to overview, then click next, and open the submission to read. On this one, I'll vote yes, and submit. When I go back to the list and reload, we can see what I voted on for every submission. Since I'm the only one who's voted so far, we can see what the scores look like. We can see my no, my maybes, and my 3 yeses, scored 0, 5, and 10 respectively. We will return to the list once editor 2 and editor 3 have voted. We're back in our submission list, and all 3 editors have voted. I've sorted by score descending again. At this point, all the editors sit with their reviews, have conversations, and decide on the top 3. For the sake of this video, let's assume the top 3 submissions by score will be accepted. To accept them, we'll select the top 3, go to Bulk Actions, Bulk Accept. We'll use the Aftermath contest acceptance we set up earlier. We'll click Next, and we'll review. We see a preview of the first message as before. We can see the mail merge filled in correctly, the title did too, the subject line looks right, the from address and to address look right, and at the bottom we can see our next steps attachment. Let's click Send and Accept, then click Next. Finally, we'll send our finalist rejections to the final 3. We'll go to Bulk Actions, Bulk Reject. We'll choose the Aftermath Contest finalist rejection, click Next, review again, then go to Send and Reject, then click Next. In the Decline folder, we can see that all the correct submissions are now rejected, and in the Accepted folder, our 3 submissions are now accepted. If we click into any one of these and go to Correspondence, we can see the message sent and the What's Next PDF attached. If you're using Subfolio to send contributor payments for your contest, you can go to the submitter name and click Open Customer Record. From here you can see the submission, all the data, and you can click Payment. If you haven't set up contributor payouts, you can start the process here. In the system, to see your contributor records, you can also go to the Records tab. Here you can see 3 accounts made for our 3 contributors. In this episode of Inside the Review Process, you've learned how to create a submission call, create readers and review workflows after the fact, and review and accept submissions in a contest. Thanks for watching.